Okay, fair enough. Ripple loses on that issue. But the next part is where things get really interesting, because the next category of sales were to mainly individual purchasers on the exchanges. And those sales, she finds, were not sales of securities. But it's the why she finds that blew my mind, and where I saw exactly how smart Judge Torres is. Looking at page 23, the judge says it thusly. Quote, having considered the economic reality of the programmatic sales, the court concludes that the undisputed record does not establish the third Howey prong. That's the reasonable expectation of profits prong. Whereas the institutional buyers reasonably expected that Ripple would use the capital it received from its sales to improve the XRP ecosystem and thereby increase the price of XRP, programmatic or exchange buyers could not reasonably expect the same. Indeed, Ripple's programmatic sales were blind, bid-ask transactions, and programmatic buyers could not have known if their payments of money went to Ripple or any other seller of XRP. Therefore, the vast majority of individuals who purchased XRP from digital asset exchanges did not invest their money in Ripple at all. Close quote. Wow. Now that came out of left field. No one saw this coming. Our purchases of XRP cannot be sales of an investment contract, because when we hit the buy button on Uphold, we didn't exactly know whether we were buying from people like our neighbor who was just listing that XRP on Uphold, or if we were buying it from Ripple, and therefore could not have bought expecting Ripple to increase the value of our XRP. But let me tell you briefly why this is the smarter ruling. Now, Judge Torres is a trial-level judge, and she is overseen by the appellate courts in all areas of law, but not generally in areas of facts. This is an important distinction that I realized during my second read, is that if Judge Torres had ruled based on contractual obligations test that Ripple and I wanted, she would have had to go all in and say that none of the sales were investment contracts, and that, along with ruling on a pure issue of unsettled law, like this would have been, would have left this decision open to being overruled by an appellate court. So instead, what she basically did is she almost backdoored the contract requirement into her opinion by couching it in terms of factual issues related to the Howey test. And that is smart, because it makes her decision more sticky, more appeal-proof, because a trial-level judge ruling on an unsettled area of law is often overruled. It's not kind of that those issues should be decided by higher appellate courts. So it's very smart, Judge Torres. So why was this important for her to do? Because you and the other amicus made her aware of what was at stake. John Deaton and the 75,000 of you that got involved saved yourself. I mean, the other amicus also, and I'm also not trying to minimize the top-notch legal work by Ripple's attorneys, but I will go to my grave believing this would have been a different result without the amicus participation. That without your participation in this case, the judge would have punted on the secondary market sales issue and left you in limbo along with thousands, hundreds of thousands of other people. So good on you. So in summary, the order by Judge Torres punishes Ripple to the tune of $700 million or something. It lets them completely off the hook for over $1 billion more. Finds that the buyer of an asset must be aware of who he is buying from in order for there to be an investment contract, and states that secondary market sales of a digital asset are not sales of securities. She punishes Ripple a little, saves you and me, and sticks a big hole in the S.E.C's litigation boat regarding digital assets and control of exchanges, all in the best way possible to make the decision as appeal-proof as possible. Wow. Now, at first I didn't get it 100%, but now I think it's genius. And so, briefly, where from here? First, the individual defendants will have their trial maybe early next year. Either side can appeal this ruling, but that would be a request for what's called an interlocutory appeal, and those are very rarely granted. Instead, it's more likely to me that appeals happen after the trial, and with the trial in 2024, even early 2024, and appeals, of course, taking a long time, this decision is probably solid through and into 2025, and that's a long time. A lot of things can happen to then. So, congratulations to you. I can't tell you how happy I was for you when I read this order, because you now own the only major digital asset with regulatory clarity. Once again, goodbye, and thank you for your support. It's not the journey, but the friends I made along the way.